Well, hello, school counselors and school counselors to be. Thank you guys so much for coming to my channel, The Inspiring School Counselor. And today we're going to be talking about how to avoid being burnt out as a school counselor. All right, so we're going to be getting deep into this subject, so you don't want to miss. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you can be notified every time I upload a video. All right, y'all, let's get into it. First, you might be wondering, well, what is being burnt out? So that is when you're dealing with mental, physical, and or emotional exhaustion, and usually that is built over a long period of time, and it's due to the stress that you are experiencing in your work environment. As you guys know, whenever your body is under stress, it is going to tell. All right, you're going to get some signs physically, mentally, emotionally, to let you know that, okay, there's a lot of stress that's on you. And that's why it's so important that you look out for those red flags that is leading you to burnout. So what can being burnt out actually look like? So first, let's focus on the physical aspect, okay? Physically, your body, all right? So you can be dealing with things such as like heart palpitations, dizziness, feeling just a lack of energy, nauseated. You can even get to the place where you're dealing with like headaches. And so that's just some of the many things that you can experience in your body. I actually remember even watching like certain videos where I would actually hear teachers tell their stories of how they were under so much stress at their job to where like the night before they go to work, like they would feel nauseated, or some of them would deal with like just that anxiousness of, okay, the next day I have to deal with this, that, and the other. And so with that, those are things that you can physically feel. Now let's focus on emotionally what you can experience. So that could look like dealing with like anxiety, very worried or edgy, depression, anger. You could be crying a lot. You could feel sad. And so those are signs that you can look out for. And mentally, you can experience things such as feeling detached, feeling like you're not connected to your faculty and staff or your administrator. You can also feel like a lack of accomplishment or that you're not being effective. And so that can really go into where you start having poor performance and you just don't feel a motivation to come up with like new stuff and doing new things for the students or for the school as a whole. So those are just some of the many things that you can kind of look out for whenever you are feeling burnt out. All right, what things can actually lead up to burnout? I think it's very important for us to pay attention to these things so that we can try our best to avoid even experiencing being burnt out as a school counselor. So one of the first things is experiencing unrealistic high expectations, whether you are putting those unrealistic expectations on yourself or it's coming from the administrator or any of the teachers. And so you really want to make sure, if it is that you ever feel that overwhelmed or you're being held accountable to do things that, for one, is outside of your school counseling duties, then you really need to advocate for yourself, talk to the necessary people to kind of, okay, get the conversation started and let them know, hey, I feel like there's a lot on me and I need that to be minimized in order for me to be an effective school counselor. So I actually remember an experience where I was actually working with a student in DCS care. The student came, there was just a lot of attention, a lot of needs that needed to be met with this student. My job, my role as a school counselor quickly shifted from school counselor to I have to be with that student everywhere. Everything that I do has to deal with that one student. So that actually became a lot on me because not only was I looked to take care of this one student and being and sitting in class with this student, but I also had to still do 504 meetings. I also still had to make calls to parents. So there was a lot of things that was still piling up. So this is actually the video that I am talking about, this experience that I'm sharing with you guys now. So I'm going to put that link in the description below. So make sure you click on that so that you can go and watch that. And so I remember having the conversation with my principal and letting her know that, okay, this is a lot on me. I still have to do this, that, and the other, and still yet fulfill this role that I didn't even go to school for. So she tried her best to fulfill that role with someone else so that I can be able to maneuver and do what I need to do. Luckily, I actually had a time frame to where that student was no longer going to be at the school. So we just had to take care of that student and kind of just make sure sure that we did the necessary things we needed to do for maybe about a month or so. And then after that, we didn't have to worry about it anymore. But I know that there's some of you that might be watching this now that is experiencing that right now, where you have a lot of things that's on you that's outside of your school counselor role and is really weighing on you. Now, there's many times where us as school counselors, we can put unrealistic expectations upon ourselves. Yes, I want to do this and I want to be a part of that team and I want to be able to implement this event and implement, this school-wide project. But at the end of the day, I have to realize, wait a minute, do I really have the time to really dedicate to this thing that I'm wanting to do? Or not just this thing, but multiple things that I'm wanting to do. Another example that I have for you guys is that I actually wanted to do something with my student ambassadors where they are able to present a career to the younger students. And I was trying to squeeze it in, but y'all, let me tell you, thinking of it and trying to get all that situated, as well as making sure that my students are able to research the things, it just became a lot on me. And I ended up not doing it at all just because of everything that was going on and what was taking place. And I had to eventually talk to my student ambassadors and let them know, hey y'all, I wanted to do this, but we're not going to do this. So that's sometimes what you have to do, is not be afraid to kind of call things off. In order to do this in the spirit of excellence like I want to, I'm going to have to put it off for maybe another year or maybe months later. Do not feel like you have to say yes to everything, okay? Another thing that I want to point out in regards to setting unrealistic expectations for yourself, there has been many times where I have my to-do list. I'm putting all this pressure on myself. I have to get all this done today. I have done that. And it had to get to a point where I had to be real with myself and be like, no, honey, you're not going to be able to get all this done today. You're going to have to spread this out another day, because there's a lot of things that comes up in the day of a school counselor. You don't have that set schedule. Anything can pop up, anything can happen, and it could turn your whole plan off and you'll be doing something totally different. Another point that I want to make that can lead up to burnout as a school counselor is you do not have enough support. You don't have enough support by the faculty and staff. You don't have enough support by your district leaders, and so that alone could weigh a lot on you, especially when you have all of these great ideas that you are wanting to do. They're not wanting to listen. Another thing that can lead up to burnout as a school counselor is putting in long hours. Y'all, this is a thing, because I know that this can also be easy, not just for school counselors, but I also hear from teachers, different people that work in the educational field, where they spend a lot of time, whether they grade papers or making calls and things of that sort. Another thing that can lead to burnout as a school counselor is just not being utilized to do what you do best, and that is provide supports for your students and even faculty and staff, especially when you're not being utilized to do individual counselings in small groups, and when you are just being used to do attendance or stuck in a classroom all day helping out a teacher. So that's all that I have for you guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have not done this already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, as well as hit that notification bell so that you can be notified every time I upload a video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.